As we've learned in recent years, just about anything can get you canceled these days, even, as my next guest recently found out, a joke, a harmless one at that, about the vice president's wardrobe. Last week, former WMAL talk show host Amber Athey tweeted, "Kamala looks like a UPS employee. What can Brown do for you? Nothing good, apparently." It was a reference to UPS's slogan and the clothing that Kamala Harris was wearing. 8 days later, the DC-based talk radio station WMAL fired Athey, claiming she had violated the company's social media policy. Joining me now to share her story with us is Amber Athey. Amber, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, Buck.
All right, so just take us to this, because one of the parts of this, we're doing really the anatomy of a cancel culture smear here, right? I mean, we're kind of figuring out how this all comes together. You just went through it. The tweet initially wasn't a problem, so to speak, right? I mean, you tweeted this out, it was a joke, people saw it as a joke, and then days later, something else happened. Well, how'd this go down?
Yes, and this is often the case with cancellations, is that it's never actually the offense that riles people up. It's when you say something else they don't like, and then they have to find a reason to cancel you. In this case, I was involved in a Twitter debate about trans kids, because I oppose the idea of chemically castrating or having surgical interventions for children who are convinced that they are transgender. This was a problem for left-wing activists who decided that I needed to be silenced because I was sharing too many facts about the harmful effects of some of these interventions in regards to children's gender. And they went back and they found this tweet about Kamala Harris's outfit and reframed it as racist, claiming that the "What can Brown do for you" comment was actually about her skin color. They then proceeded to try to cancel me by contacting my employers with angry emails. And unfortunately, WMAL, which is owned by Cumulus Media as its parent company, decided that I would be fired.
By the way, I want to get back to the cancellation, but I think this is fascinating because we're talking about this elsewhere on the program today, and I've been talking about it for days now. You said you discussed the risks of that kind of radical intervention for transgender kids. I think I'd like to hear, I'd like the audience to know, what are the risks?
Yeah, it's a great question. When children are put on these things called puberty blockers, which is to delay the onset of puberty so they can decide whether or not they actually want to change gender or not, which of course is already a falsity because you can't change your sex. But they are put on the puberty blockers, and then if they decide to go ahead and continue with the transition, they're then put on hormone therapy. And the combination, the 1-2 punch of those things can lead children to become infertile, meaning if they decide to detransition later on down the line, they're not able to have children. And there are other side effects like the risk for osteoporosis, and even some preliminary studies have suggested that it can affect your brain chemistry and your intellectual ability. So there's a lot of really dangerous side effects. And again, these are minors. These are people who can't consent to this type of life-changing decision and have any idea whether or not they want to have kids in the future. And the adults are sort of forcing this on them through methods of indoctrination.
Don't miss American Scandal, Hunter Biden. A new First TV exclusive special hosted by Buck Sexton. Available right now only on the First TV app.